Chapter 4. Kelsey Castle, Summit Lake, March 5th, 2012. Day 1. High on a bluff in the mountains of Summit Lake, Kelsey Castle watched as the rising sun burned the horizon red and turned the wispy clouds into cherry cotton candy torn across the sky. Farther off the horizon, over the center of the lake, dark thunderclouds formed. A storm was coming, and it reminded Kelsey of her youth, of the sunny rainstorms that always came on her birthday, and of her grandfather's deep belly laugh when they saw the clouds roll in. The downpour happened quickly from newly developed clouds, and her grandfather would whisper in her ear as beads of water ran down their faces and wrinkled their clothes against their bodies. Happy birthday to the Rainmaker. Everyone else ran for cover, newspapers or jackets overhead. Kelsey and her grandfather danced and kicked puddles as the rain came down, all the while a bright blue sky, just beyond the storm clouds, threw slashes of sunlight across the ground and highlighted the raindrops like diamonds pouring from the sky. And just as quickly as the storm developed, it would pass, leaving dripping trees and street puddles that reflected the blue sky. It was an odd phenomenon Kelsey grew to love. That they happened each year on her birthday was a special tag on her life that said someone, somewhere was watching over her on her special day. At least, that's what her grandfather always told her. She walked to the edge of the bluff now and took deep breaths to bring her breathing under control. Arriving in Summit Lake the night before, Kelsey jogged through town early this morning, quiet and still in the dawn hours. She took 20 minutes to survey the center of town, jogging past storefronts and galleries, and exploring side streets to get a feel for the place. After 2 laps around the town square, the waterfall was her next stop. It was, besides the lake itself, the most famous landmark this tiny town had to offer. And now, standing on the bluff where the falls originated, and looking out over the sunrise and the town, Kelsey wanted to call Penn Courtney and thank him for getting her out of the city and away from her house. Thank him for giving her some time away she didn't want to admit she needed. There were books and experts that might help her, but Kelsey was not the type to confide in those structured aids. She always relied on an inner strength to get her through difficult spots in life, and this rough patch would be no different. The waterfall fell for 100 feet, passing just in front of the mountain face to eventually crash into the lagoon below. Spruce trees flanked the falls and bearded the mountainside, merging with a dense forest that isolated the lagoon. On the far side of the trees, the town of Summit Lake took shape. From Kelsey's vantage point high on the bluff, the town belonged on a postcard. One main drag, Maple Street, ran through the center of town with 5 roads slicing across, each heaped with shops and boutiques and restaurants and galleries Kelsey had inspected earlier during her run. On the north end was the Winchester Hotel, an old Victorian building that had been hosting guests of Summit Lake for decades, and where Penn Courtney arranged for her to stay. 5 blocks from the Winchester, on the south end of Maple Street, St. Patrick's Church was a majestic structure, built from white stone and decorated with Gothic wooden entry doors and a tall steeple that looked like a needle ready to puncture the sky. To the east was a vast expanse of the lake, after which the town was named, and together with the western mountains where Kelsey stood, it sandwiched the town of Summit Lake into a cozy setting known for summer houses and weekend getaways. Homes trickled down from the foothills and circled the lake. A few tiptoed on stilts into the water. The stilt houses, with tiled roofs and large bay windows, were arranged in 2 long arching rows to give each a beautiful view of the lake. This morning, the cresting sun threw starbursts off the windows. Kelsey stared over it all. Somewhere, in this quaint tourist town, a girl had been murdered. It seemed too nice a place for such a thing to happen. As she stared down from the bluff, Kelsey felt connected to the town. It had a story to tell her. And even though Penn Courtney sent her here to slowly get her swagger back, to ease her gently back into the occupation she once ruled, Kelsey had no intention of taking it easy. She had interviews to conduct, facts to gather, and evidence to discover. Still, Penn knew what he was doing. Kelsey spent the weekend in Miami researching the Eckersley case and picking through the scarce details about how the girl